Hey guys, so today we're just doing a quick recap on how we can estimate the area under a curve using rectangles. So the example function that I'm going to be working through today is for f of x equals x squared minus 2x plus 2, as you can see on the graph here. The next thing we need to do is decide what our upper and lower bounds are so that we know what area under the graph we're trying to find. So today we're going to be looking at the lower bound equals 1 and the upper bound equals 4. So you can see those drawn there. The next step is we're just going to have a look to see what that shaded area looks like, what we're trying to find out here. So you can see it here. The shaded area is the area under the curve, which is bounded by the lower bound of 1 and the upper bound of 4. The next thing we need to do is we need to decide the number of subintervals or rectangles that we're going to be splitting up our graph into. So in this case, I'm going to keep it really simple. We're just going to do n equals 3. Once we've got the number of rectangles we want to split our area up into, we then need to find out what the width is. So we can use this handy little formula here, which is just the width is the upper bound minus the lower bound, all over the number of rectangles that you want to split into. So here we've got w equals b, which in this case is 4, minus a, which is 1, over n, which is 3. So our total is just 1. So get this one very, very simple to see it all. Once we've done that, the next thing that we need to do is we need to find the coordinates relating on the graph to those points. So we start at x equals 1, and with a width of 1, we move along to x equals 2, x equals 3, and x equals 4. So we've just plotted those points on the graph. So then we would insert our values for x into the function that we are given at the top so that we can get the values for each of these points. I'm just going to pop them in today. 2, 2, 3, 5, and 4, 10. Perfect. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the lower rectangles. So you've got the graph here. So what we do is we look at our subinterval, which here we've got from 1 to 2. We need to find which of these points from 1 and 2 is the lower one according to the y-axis. So here you can see that it's from the left. So that's where we draw our lower rectangle all the way across and down. Then we do again the same on the next subinterval. You can see it's again from the left. And then again for the last one, you can see it's on the left again. So then you've got the lower rectangles drawn here. This page just shows what it looks like when the rectangles aren't shaded. So the next thing we need to do is we need to find out what the areas are for each of the rectangles. So we're going to call this L1, L2, and L3. Now using the coordinates that we found before, we already know what the heights are, and we have a constant width for each of these equal to 1. So the L1 height, as we've already found out, is equal to 1. L2 height is equal to 2, and L3 height is equal to 5. So then we already know that the area of a rectangle is just the width by the height. So L1 area is just equal to 1 by 1, it's just 1. L2 is equal to 1 by 2, 2. L3 is just 1 by 5, which is just 5. So the total area for all of our lower rectangles is just L1 and L2 and L3, which in this case, very small, 1 plus 2 plus 5, which is 8. So the area shaded in purple here is just 8. The next thing we're going to look at is what our upper rectangles are. So using the same process as before, we look at our points that we've already found, but then we look between the intervals and we look for the one that's higher of the two. So you can see here that the one to the right is higher, same again for this interval, same again for this interval. So all of our rectangles now going from the right. So there they are. So you can see them shaded here. So then what we need to do is again just find out what their areas are. I'm going to call them U1, U2, and U3 again here. So we know their heights that we've found before. So I'm just going to write U1 height is 2, U2 height is just 5, and U3 height is just equal to 10. So again, using the areas, which is just the width by the height, U1 equals 1 by 2, 2, U2 equals 1 by 5, which is 5, U3 equals 1 by 10, which is just 10, and the total area for the upper rectangles is simply equal to U1 plus U2 plus U3, which is just 2 plus 5 plus 10, very simple, 17. So the area shaded in red here is equal to 17. So now that we know that when we look at this graph that we had right at the start, the shaded area, we know that this blue shaded area lies between the values that we have found for the lower rectangles, which was just 8, and the upper rectangles that we just found there of 17. So now that we can estimate that the area under the curve shaded in blue lies between 8 and 17. Thanks for watching, guys.